Good morning, LA Pipe Smoker with you on a beautiful Saturday morning in Los Angeles. Been a little bit of time since my last video. Last week of school, a lot of finals to grade and stuff like that kept me kind of busy. So we closed out the semester yesterday to my great delight and to some of my students' great chagrin. And now officially free of all academic duties so I can focus my attention on my pipes and smoking and investigating different types of tobaccos. Recently I had an idea. It started last week when I was smoking a Philosopher's Blend for my last video. And I so enjoyed that. And I was thinking, I had been smoking aromatics, gosh, for without thinking about it, really, all summer into the early fall and up until the point to where I'd smoked the Philosopher's Blend from Tinderbox. I'd been smoking aromatics since last May. Just kind of got into that pattern. That's not a bad thing. But when I made the transition to the Philosopher's Blend, it just really stood out. Obviously, there's a difference for those of you that aren't knowledgeable in this area. Two big divisions in pipe tobaccos, English and aromatics. English are untreated, pure leaf tobacco. They don't have any additives. I believe the origin of that was actually legislation in England. Not quite sure on that. I could look that up. But at any rate, so English blends don't have added sugars and things along those lines. So they're unadulterated. They tend to be stronger tobaccos. Aromatics, on the other hand, have sugar added or other flavorings added. Typically contain Cavendish, which is a treated tobacco. All tobacco is cased, by the way. In other words, it's all of it nowadays has some form of casing or treatment. It's hard to smoke a pure leaf in the strict sense. But some are less adulterated than others. And even using the word adulterated is kind of, a little pernicious. I don't really think that that it's fair to characterize aromatics as being adulterated and that the pure tobaccos are English. But that's the basic understanding. So English, stronger, more woodsy, aromatics, sweeter, more flowery. Guess what I need? A little bit more coffee. Flowery. There you go. So, long story short, or short story long, usually in my case, is I decided to try the new Peterson brand of the old Dunhill Nightcap. So, and I think it was just a matter of really switching one name for the other. The blends are the same. I've smoked both this week, and a little bit of a difference, but the difference that I can attribute is the Dunhill brand of Nightcap was cellared. It had a couple of years of age on it, and the Peterson didn't. And so naturally they'd smoke a little bit differently. I'm smoking right now the Peterson, I'm smoking now the Dunhill, yeah. I'm smoking it in my Altanach Meerschaum to kind of get that full effect. Meerschaum pipes are really good if you want to avoid any kind of extraneous flavors in your smoke. They really give you a pure smoke of the tobacco itself, in my opinion. And I would have to say that this is a more muted smoke than the brand new or relatively new Nightcap from Peterson. Just to let you know, a lot of people think the blenders changed when Dunhill gave up the brand to Peterson, but that's not the case. The Scandinavian Tobacco Group, STG, was the one that was manufacturing and blending the tobacco for Dunhill. And when Peterson came along and obtained the rights for the blend, STG just changed the tin a little bit. There's some artwork that's a little bit different on it. But the tobacco is the same. So STG has always been, and at least as far as I know for recent memory, been the blender of the Dunhill blend, and now is simply the blender for the Peterson blend. So there's not a change in blenders. You know, I was thinking about Kramer pipes and tobacco, the old smoke shop in Beverly Hills that closed, I guess, a couple of years now. Hey, Lucy, what's going on, girl? They used to do their own blending of all their brands and stuff. Then that all changed as they were transitioning, you know, going out of business. They sold the recipes to who was it? It was Cornell and Deal, I think. They have the old Kramer blends. So I've tried those. I had let me get my cat out of here. She's gonna explode with the microphone. Hello. Whoa. A little bit of excitement. Alrighty. I like the Father Dempsey blend. And so I remember having a supply of the Kramer's blended Father Dempsey, and then getting I think it's Cornell and Deal, getting their blend, and it was roughly the same, although I think I liked the home mixed version of Father Dempsey. I had no such reaction to the Peterson blend. The Peterson pipe tobacco was virtually the same, except this one has a little bit more age on it and seems a little smoother. All right, so it's a Virginia, Latakia. Says mixture of Latakia, small-leaved Oriental or Orient, and Perique. It does have, I can still taste a little tingling with Perique. That's how I experience Perique. It's like a little tingling. It's quite enjoyable. Perique is, some guys I've seen on the YouTube videos have smoked it straight. Jesus, that would kill me. I'm not, that's like chugging moonshine. I don't think I could do that. But it's used mostly as kind of a spice. Latakia, I can definitely taste the Orientals with a Latakia. And doesn't mention the Virginia, but definitely has some Virginias. I've showed you in the cutaway some pictures, and you can clearly see the Virginias. Kind of a ribbon cut, both are kind of a ribbon cut. They dry out pretty quickly, just to let you know. If you like your tobacco a little on the moist side, you might want to put it in a mason jar right away. I like to smoke an English blend a little bit on the drier side for me. The other thing I noticed was I'd forgotten how you can smoke a tobacco to this beautiful ash right at the bottom. There's nothing left. And with an aromatic, that's more of a challenge. It gets a little goopy towards the bottom. So Nightcap, as the name suggests, I think is meant to be smoked in the evening. Peterson also slapped their name on Morning Pipe, which is the kind of the other bookend of these two tobaccos. Maybe I'll do I did a little review between Daybreak and Morning Pipe last year. If you want to look that one up. That was when everybody was stockpiling Dunhill tobacco because they were afraid that they were going to lose it. I didn't think they would lose the blend. I didn't know what was going on. And in reality, STG has held the blend all this time. So, you know, some people like to stock up, and that's cool. You know, whatever floats your boat. I've never been much of a cellarer in that sense. I have a little cellar, probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 tens. I've got some Frogmorton. I've got some Dunhill, Elizabethan mixture, Morning Pipe, it's got pretty good age on it. It's over 5 years, and 2 tens of Dunhill Nightcap, and now 1 10 of Nightcap for Peterson, both of which I've opened. So, and I'm smoking the cellared tobacco with it's a couple of years age on it, I think. It's a creamy taste to it. I really like this tobacco. Just to let you know, for those of you who smoke cigars, I don't think it would be a big deal. But for those of you who exclusively smoke pipes and aren't used to kind of a rich, heavy kind of tobacco, you might want to go easy with it. Have something on your stomach when you smoke it. Yesterday I was smoking it on the way home from school, and I noticed it was kind of getting to me a little bit, so I kind of backed off the pipe. You can kind of, because I've done this before, I guess it's the nicotine. You can kind of OD on the nicotine a little bit, and then the world, you know, you get a little sweaty, and I thought I was having a heart attack, but it wasn't that. It was just I had a little bit too much. I can't remember what I was smoking. But it was kind of fun. I mean, not really fun, but I had to put down the pipe. If you're ever moving in that direction, you'll kind of feel it. You're getting kind of lightheaded, and you probably definitely want to put down the pipe. There is something that works for me, and I have no idea how it works, but a tablespoon of honey, if you get that kind of way, that tends to snap you out of it pretty quickly. So there must be some sort of chemical reaction between the tobacco or nicotine and the sugars in the honey. I don't really know. If somebody knows the chemistry behind that, feel free to leave a comment down below. So it's the perfect after dinner pipe. They say on the advertisement, what is it? Indulge in a sensation of relaxation and leisure. Mixed cut. Well, it's not really mixed. I mean, it is a ribbon cut. So I don't know, maybe mixed ribbons? I have no idea. But as far as I can tell, it's just a regular ribbon cut. But it's really delightful. I think of all the English blends that I like, and I like quite a few. Nightcap is sort of sort of my favorite, I think. But as we get into winter and we get cloudier days, rainier days, or snowy days, I think that a little nightcap at the end of the day is called for. Looks like in California we're going to have rain on Christmas Day. I'm headed up to my mom's house up north in Lake Isabella, and they're forecasting a mixture of rain and snow. As you remember in my previous videos, or not previous videos, but what is it, 2 videos ago, I was driving through the snow in Thanksgiving. Well, it may occur again. We'll have to find out. If it does, I'll light up the camera and show you another snow episode in Lake Isabella. That was a fun trip. I noticed in driving home each day from school, drivers are, at least in California, everybody is really tense. I mean, more obnoxious than usual. So smoking this kind of mellows you out quite a bit. I like to think of this tobacco as the tobacco that can soften your heart. Probably my head a little bit too. But it's thoroughly enjoyable. It's rich, kind of the way a port wine is rich in comparison to, oh, I don't know, a rosé or something like that. Rosé is hideous wine. Well, I've got a couple of books lined up for the holiday that I'm going to be teaching in the spring. I've taught them before, but it's always good to go through them again before you teach them again. Get out your old notes and stuff like that. One is Kate Chopin's The Awakening, which is a beautifully written novel. Really, her writing is just amazing. Then there's a rougher stylist, a little bit too much linguistic perique for my taste. Ralph Ellison, Invisible Man. Don't get me wrong; it's a great novel. It's a very important novel in American literature, in my opinion. Certainly something which is relevant for today. I'm not going to give you a plot summary because maybe you guys can look them up yourself. So Ralph Ellison, Invisible Man, not to be confused with H.G. Wells, The Invisible Man. I get that on the essays all the time. So Invisible Man, Ralph Ellison, Awakening, Kate Chopin, and then a third novel, will be E.M. Forster's Maurice, published posthumously after Forster died. There's a reason for that, which I'm not going to tell you. But they all have a common connection. They all have a place of unity, I think. And that's how I teach them. So I'll leave that for you to explore and see if you might want to try reading one of those. The shortest is Kate Chopin's The Awakening, followed by Maurice by E.M. Forster, and then the longer work, a very rich work, a little bit too rich for me, figuratively. It's almost allegorical, which I like in smaller doses, but an allegory of over 300 pages is just like smoking Perique pure almost. It's a little bit much. Um, but it's a great novel if you're teaching, well, frame story, figurative language. You can take any page out of Invisible Man and do a close reading, almost to the extent that you would do a close reading for a poem. It's got allusion, it's got metaphor, direct and implied, it's got simile, syntactical cadence. It really is extremely rich. But I think sometimes it gets to be just a bit much. Symbolism, oh my God. But it's a good teaching tool. You know, a lot of people ask me why I choose to teach some of the novels and literature that I teach. And one of the reasons, one of the big criteria for me, at least in an introductory course, would be for me to teach structural elements in a novel. Very few, it seems to me, are learning how the novel works as a form. You know, they're so focused on talking about the theme and how it relates to them today and all of this, which is fine, but it's one of many things. Certainly in any novel, you want to focus on the characters and how the author sort of moves them into development through the narrator and being conscious of the narrator. And also the different devices that novelists use, and it you know, more of a technical study, because I don't think a lot of lit students get a technical study much anymore, so that they can't speak very well with regard to the technical aspects of a novel. So reading for pleasure and reading to study are really can be two different things. I've read novels that I've studied that I just hate. Keller's or Heller's, Joseph Heller's Catch-22. Absolutely deplored that novel for some reason. And I love MASH. I love the TV show MASH. So you would think that I would really be embracing it. I just think it was one of those too self-conscious novels that's trying so hard to be ironic and, oh, isn't that clever? I don't know. I read it when I was an undergrad and maybe I was in a bad mood. I think reading novels and smoking different tobaccos can be roughly approximated. So smoking Nightcap. Nightcap would be like Dostoevsky's The Idiot. It's rich, it's bold, it's complex, you really got to want to read it. It's not something that you read casually, at least not for me. That goes for any Russian novel. Let's see, what's another tobacco I like? So the John Aylesbury aromatic. What would be the novel for that? So kind of a stream of consciousness kind of thing. It's fruity. It's kind of, you know, I can't really think of a novel that would be like John Aylesbury's 40th edition. It's a very light, kind of fruity, aromatic. Maybe you have a suggestion for me on that one. I know. Maybe Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. Structurally, it's a very simple plot. The exposition in that novel, it just takes for freaking ever for that novel to get off the ground. Kind of having to light a goopy aromatic, you know, it just takes forever to get that thing off the ground. There's what's called an authorial intrusion, at least in my opinion, in Brave New World, where the savage, John, is talking to Mustafa Mond, and this is extended philosophical conversation, which I like, but I don't know how necessary that was, that meeting. Some people think it was necessary plot-wise to move him into hanging himself at the end. I don't know. Maybe the final part of despair. Anyway, this video's gone on now for over 20 minutes. I hope you haven't minded my Discordia Concours with pipe tobacco and literature. It just kind of occurred to me. I'm probably getting a little lightheaded from smoking Nightcap. But that's what it does. It puts you in kind of a relaxing, chatty mood. At least it does for me. Well, maybe I'm kind of a chatty guy anyway, so maybe it just enhances that and you've had to suffer through, unless you've been smoking it with me, in which case we probably are being equally chatty. You're probably talking to me right now, fully aware that I can't hear you. At any rate, I wish you all a Merry Christmas for those of you who celebrate Christmas, and even if you don't celebrate Christmas, all the sentiments of the joy of Christmas I wish on you and your family and friends, and we'll talk to you soon.